everybody? Welcome back to SkywayTj. Today we're going to be discussing everything I watched in the month of September. It was an interesting month. I watched a lot of things, and I platinumed some games on the quest to 100 platinums, and always on the quest to lower my watch list on Letterboxd. Today we're going to be discussing everything I did in September, and I hope you enjoy. Let's hop into it. Right off rip, I'm just going to say I watched the entire Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise in the month of September. I was preparing for the rank list I'm making in 2 weeks in October. Yeah, I'm not going to go into full detail with these movies because I am going to talk about a lot in that ranking. But this might be the messiest horror franchise I've ever watched so far. There's a whole lot of interesting timelines and very interesting movies. Some good, some bad. But yeah, I watched all the Texas Chainsaw Massacres, and some of them were hard to get through, I'm not going to lie. Alright, starting off this month, I watched Pulp Fiction finally. I've been hearing about this movie for years, obviously. I had attempted to watch it years before when my friends came over and we were having like a movie day, but I was just being kind of an ass and didn't really pay attention to it. This time I actually fully sat down and watched it myself, and I do agree that I really enjoy it. I like how all the stories interconnect. Sam Jackson, yeah, all the things you hear about him in this movie is correct. John Travolta, it's great. I'm kind of mad I haven't watched it before, but yeah, I mean, I'm down to watch more Quentin Tarantino now. Maybe I'll give him a chance. I know he's a bit of a weirdo, but I liked it. Next up was Beetlejuice. Definitely wanted to watch this, considering I'm a huge Beetlejuice fan of the original, obviously. While I think this movie is worse than that one, obviously. How could it ever be better? I do think it's fine. I think it's a fun time. Some of the characters in the movie feel a bit tacked on for no reason, like Willem Dafoe and Monica Bellucci. Their characters just kind of seem there just to have those characters, like those actors in the movie, which is fine. I mean, whatever Tim Burton wants to do. But yeah, I like the movie. Michael Keaton slips right back into Beetlejuice's shoes very, very easily. Winona Ryder seems to be phoning it in a little bit, but I think she's having a good time. And, you know, Jenna Ortega is always welcome. And Catherine O'Hara, of course, is amazing. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a fun movie. It's just not better than the original, and it never was going to be. So that's fine. Good job. Next up, I watched the original Speak No Evil from 2022, the Danish film that the American remake was inspired by. Because I wanted to see that one before I watched the American one, just to see if they were going to rip it right off or copy or try to do something different. The original one is very good. Probably one of the most unsettling, anxious-fueled movies I've ever seen. The ending left me feeling just full of dread. It has one of the most depressing endings I've ever watched in a movie. And I really, really liked it. I think it's very impactful, and I really like the themes of what happens if you can't stand up for yourself. What happens if you just allow yourself to be pushed over in social graces and shit. I like that. It's a fucked up movie, and I really enjoy that. I love those sort of movies that make me think that, yeah. So then, of course, I watched Speak No Evil from 2024 with James McAvoy. This movie is probably Blumhouse's best movie of the year, which isn't a hard competition considering Night Swim and Imaginary and Afraid were all very bad. But this movie is pretty good, mostly because James McAvoy is a fantastic actor. It carries. But yeah, it follows pretty much the same premise of a family being invited out by another family and not being able to stand up for themselves, social graces, everything. The ending, though, is completely different and it's enough of a different vibe that I think it's an okay remake. I still don't think it needed to be remade at all. But if we were going to get one, I'm glad they changed the ending to a more a different one, because if you do it straight, if you copy it straight up, then it's just not worth doing at all. So yeah, I do think this one's different enough to have fun, and I did enjoy it, mostly because James McAvoy is a fantastic actor. So yeah, in my quest to watch more of the 2024 movies that I missed this year so far, I watched The First Omen. When this came out in theaters, for some reason, me and my friend group, we just ended up skipping it. I don't know why, but it's a prequel to the actual First Omen that came out in like the 70s. This movie is scary as hell. It's so well done and put together. The only drawback I see to it is that it came out right around the same time that Immaculate came out, and they're pretty much the same movie with the cult trying to birth the Antichrist and shit. But this does show what happened to Damien's real mother from the first movie and everything. It's fucked. It's a fucked movie, and it's very gory and very, very good with the practical effects. It's scary as hell. It's probably one of the best horror movies this year. It's very good. If you haven't seen The First Omen yet, you should check it out. It's haunting. In that same vein of trying to catch up, I also watched In a Violent Nature. This is a movie that got a limited theater release, and it's on Shudder. It's a movie that takes place entirely from the perspective of the killer. So, you know, in the movies where Jason just kind of shows up out of nowhere, this movie is kind of just like you're watching Jason walk around in the woods, crunch around, and then he pops up, and then, you know, when he kills the teenagers and everything. It's an interesting concept. I think it's a bit too long. I think some of it's a bit boring. But overall, I did enjoy this unique perspective. It has one of the most gory kills I've ever seen in my life. It's called the yoga kill. You'll know if you end up watching it. It is a fucked movie, but I like when they try to flip a narrative on its head and do something different. So I enjoyed it enough. I also watched 2001: A Space Odyssey this month, and I wanted to like it so much more than I did. I know this is like pretty much the most iconic sci-fi movie out there. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know if it was a me problem or if the movie just wasn't for me, but I just couldn't get into it as much as everybody else I know can. I did like it for what it was, but I just couldn't get into it, and that bums me out because like this movie's been hyped up for years, but I just didn't like it that much. I think it's a bit boring. So I don't know, maybe I need to rewatch it and give it another perspective, but for right now I just didn't like it, and then it's kind of disappointing. After that I watched Blade Runner. This movie I did enjoy more than 2001: A Space Odyssey. I'm trying to watch more sci-fi stuff, and Blade Runner is good. It's interesting. It's a bit not all over the place. It's just like the themes and concepts are there. I just don't know if I was like in the right headspace to fully grasp it when I watched it. I do know what it's about. It's just, it was a lot going on. I do think it's pretty good. It clearly inspired a lot of stuff in sci-fi. So yeah, I did enjoy it. Harrison Ford does an amazing job. The villain is an interesting one. It just kind of made my brain hurt, but I do think it's good. So, and the last movie I watched in September was Transformers 1. This is probably one of the best animated movies we've had in years. It's definitely one of the best Transformers movies. Technically, I don't think it's in the Transformers live action universe we've had. It's just its own telling of how Orion Pax and D16 became Optimus Prime and Megatron. You see the origin of the Autobots and the Decepticons pretty much. Visually, very pleasing to watch. Is it a bit cliche in some spots? Yes. Are you pretty much going to know and see how Megatron is going to turn on Optimus? Yeah. We knew they were always going to become enemies, but I never get tired of watching Optimus make speeches, and I really enjoy this aspect of watching our heroes fight in this way. Animation just does this job so much better than anything else because you can just do more in animation, and it's beautiful, and it was cool. I liked it a lot. Yeah. As for the platinums I got this month, I got 4 of them. The first one I got was Borderlands. Really enjoyed the gameplay of this one. The story, I barely know what happened because, you know, there's not much there. But I did enjoy it. We're playing through Borderlands 2 right now, and I'm excited to hop back into that. After that, I got the platinum for Maneater. This is a game where you play as a shark, and you pretty much just go around and eat things and kill people and kill apex predators and try to get revenge for your mom's death and everything. It fucking rips. It was a fun time. It was just a fun game. And I enjoy when a platinum is just fun. It's really enjoyable. After that, I got this game. It's platinum called Lost Words, Beyond the Page. There's a story about a girl who's dealing with the loss of her grandma by writing a fantasy story. And it hit kind of hard, I'm not going to lie. I got a little emotional there at the end. But I enjoyed it. I love indie games, so I enjoy always platinum them. And then I finally got Quidditch Champions. This is the new Harry Potter game that's out where you play Quidditch. Very straightforward platinum, just play the game for the most part. You only have to do a couple online trophies. And there was only a couple annoying ones, but yeah, I got that one, and that was my 90th one. I only need 10 more to hit 100. I'm very excited. Well, guys, that was my September wrap-up. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe for more. I make videos every single week. Next week, we'll have another ranking of beautiful, beautiful horror movies. I believe next week is The Nightmare on Elm Street, followed by Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and ending with the Halloween franchise. Very excited. 3 big boys coming up. So yeah, thank you for everything. The channel keeps growing, and I'm very grateful for that. I will see you next week with another video. You have a fantastic week and a wonderful start to spooky season. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!